My name is Dave McIlrath, and I started Ethiopia Guest Home because I wanted to make a difference for the cause of the orphan in Ethiopia. Ethiopia Guest Home is a place for adoptive parents and volunteer teams to come and stay in Ethiopia, and yet it's far more than a guest home as well.
We're here adopting 4 children, picking them up, and we are so happy to stay in the Ethiopia Guest Home because this is our second adoption. Our first adoption, we stayed in the Hilton, and this is just much more comfortable for our family to relax in and get to know our children.
The guest home's in the capital city of Addis Ababa, just 15 minutes drive from the airport, in a developing neighborhood outside of the hustle and bustle of the city and discotheques. My wife and I adopted 2 children from Ethiopia in 2008. When we were called down into the lobby and headed out, we went to the transition home, and that was where my wife met our kids for the first time. When I held my son for the first time, when I held my daughter for the first time, I knew deep down that they were my children even before they were born. So it was a very spiritual moment, the whole connecting with our children for the first time. My kids were found abandoned at a church in an area called Cherkos, and that's one of 3 main prostitution areas of the city. And one can only imagine that my kids are not the only kids that are abandoned at that church. And instead of a life in an institution or a life from one place to the next, hoping that someone would care for them, they're receiving love in a family, which is the best place for any child. Ethiopia has some of the highest per capita rates of orphans out of any country in the world. There are approximately 2,000 plus children who are adopted from Ethiopia every year. But we wanted to do something for those who are in Ethiopia who would not be adopted, who still have a need for a family. I saw this enormous need and had the idea that someone else perhaps would put together a guest home that would serve the cause of the orphan, that would welcome adoptive families and volunteer teams. But I never thought it would be our family. Ethiopia Guest Home now has a staff of 52, and we're overstaffed for a reason, as many nannies, translators, those who can really serve parents and volunteer teams that come alongside of them.
The staff caters to adoptive families, and since we arrived yesterday, has just been sort of at our service, providing us with whatever we needed, and that's been more helpful than I even anticipated. It's great, I think, to have other adoptive families that you're staying with that are sort of going through the same thing that you're going through, and you can relate to each other and collaborate, because I think it would be a little bit harder if we were staying in a hotel on our own.
The staff is primarily young Ethiopians who also share a passion for the cause of the orphan.
Ethiopia Guest Home really is more than a place to stay.
Oftentimes, our staff who have a ministry or some kind of work with children, with widows, with orphans, they're able to share that with guests and volunteer teams and stir folks to be part of something bigger. Peter Abera runs the drop-in center that's just around the corner from Ethiopia Guest Home. Peter left a full-time job with an international ministry to start a drop-in center in the north part of the city. And when I met him, there were 80 children there thriving. And I thought, surely an international organization must be behind this. But when I started to ask questions, I found out that Peter started the center with no formal funding source, either for him personally as a salary, or also for all the operation cost of the drop-in center. And I thought, this is exactly who I would love to come alongside and love to connect with others. I asked Pete, Pete, would you be willing, if we could find funding for you, to set up a second drop-in center in the south part of the city where we're located? And almost before I could get the words out of my mouth, Pete said, absolutely.
There are a lot of needy children, but we took the poorest of the poor, the most needy ones. And there are a lot that we would like to accommodate and provide help for, but as you can see, we can only accept so many children.
Pete has dreams and aspirations that are far bigger than even the 2 centers that he has now, and we need many more people to help him fulfill that dream and impact generations in Ethiopia. The garbage dump in Addis Ababa was initially set far from the center of the city, and just like most cities that grow and grow out, it soon became engulfed by the city. Interestingly enough, many people in Addis who are from Addis have never been to the dump, and yet it's an experience that everyone needs to see for themselves to believe.
My name is Liben, and I born and grew up in Addis. And when I was 4 years old, my grandma used to bring me here. So I live about 8 years here at the trash dump. So there is about 65 orphans who lives here, and also other children also from the community, which their parents are disabled and lepers, that they can afford to feed them. So those children also lives in here.
أنا كبيتسوي جانا أتكلم منورو، إننا بهوني تاندالين كبيتسوي جانا لا أتكلم نورالو جهاني.
As a volunteer team came in to build a bunkhouse for 40 children, those 40 children no longer sleep in the trenches of decomposing waste. They sleep in a bed. They have a sheet, they have a pillow, they have a blanket. They have a slice of dignity that they didn't have before. That sets the tone, that sets the pace for others to come along and realize that if we can do something, just one thing, if we can sponsor one child, if we can bring one more child out of the dump, eventually the dump would no longer be a home to any person, child or not. The trash dump is connected with Korah, an area known as the leper colony. That whole area has such a stigma on it that few people venture in. The idea that there is a curse on the people with leprosy, on they and their family, has kept many people out of Korah.
ይሄ ሰፈር የተመሰረተው በዚህ በቆዳ በሽተኞች ምክንያት ለረጅም ዓመታት እነሱ ብቻ ናቸው የቆዳ በሽተኞች ብቻ ነው። ስለዚህ ሁለተኛ እና ሶስተኛ ትውልድ ውስጥ እንዳለ ነው የሚቆጠረው።
There's now several different organizations involved with Korah and the dump. The Great Hope Church in Korah and Sammy Liben. Great people looking to transform that whole region. When people can be about something bigger than themselves, they find fulfillment they would have never found before. I'm just a regular guy. I have 5 children and a fantastic wife. We are fairly normal people, but we have the audacity to believe that we can make a difference. And what's happening is there's a contagious audacity. And as one family says, I'm willing, another family says, I'm willing. When volunteers come in and simply hold the hand of a child, read to them, hug them, sing with them, laugh with them, color with them, even when they don't speak their language, there's something communicated, and that message is, you are worthy enough for me to stop and pour in everything I have right here. That right now, when I'm with you, nothing else matters. When they receive that message that right now, this person loves me, it frees them and gives them the capacity to give and receive love in a whole new way, in a way that changes their life. My hope for the future of Ethiopia Guest Home is that we're able to be an even better bridge between this enormous need in Ethiopia and those in Western nations that want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. We also want to see other organizations thrive in their specific mission to Ethiopia, whether it's providing clean water and sanitation, perhaps it's healthcare, literacy, for those that have a genuine care and concern for the cause of the orphan and the people of Ethiopia. We want to be the best bridge we can be. I think it's possible in our lifetime to see a new generation of Ethiopia embrace hope, and that hope will lead to change. I'm not naive enough to think that I personally can change the world or even can change all of Ethiopia, but collectively, when one family says yes and another family says yes, we can do some damage. We can do some damage for the good.
I'm so smart.